Hey guys, it's Joe, and welcome back to my guides for the rares of the Mist of Pandaria. Today we're going to be looking at the rare Zandalari that have invaded Pandaria here in patch 5.2. The good thing for us is, despite they're up to no good, they're actually going to be dropping some very, very valuable things for us. First and foremost, let's go over the achievement, however. It's called Zul'Again, which of course is pretty amusing considering how often people say trolls just keep coming back into this game, and yeah, they do. I like trolls though, so I'm okay with it. The achievement's a good indicator as to what we're going to be dealing with in these rares. It is kill 10 Zandalari Warscouts and 5 Zandalari Warbringers. Now, what's the difference between a Warscout and a Warbringer, you ask? Well, we'll go into that here in a bit, but let's take a look at what these drop. The Warscouts and the Warbringers do have the same loot table to a degree. The Warbringers do drop more of these, and also have an additional potential drop for a mount. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of that. First off, let's look at the very basic things they drop. One is a small bag of Zandalari supplies, the other is a big bag of Zandalari supplies. You can see that one is green, one is blue, so you're going to get more stuff and maybe potentially more valuable stuff from the blue bag, but you're still going to be looking at herbs or cloth. I mean, it's really just the same stuff that we've seen up until this point in these bags from these rares already, so... Next up is what really makes these valuable, besides the potential drop of the mount. This is what really is the point of these, I think. You're going to farm these rares for this. What we're looking at are called the Insignias: the Stolen Celestial, Stolen Calaxy, Stolen Golden Lotus, and Stolen Shadowpan. Each one gives 1,000 reputation. There is no week-long cooldown like the Hosen Peace Pipe, so you can use as many of these as you can get. And the best part is they're buying on account. They're BOA, folks. This is amazing. So you want to get your alts going with buying some more Valor gear now that the Valor gear has been dropped in price? Here you go. You don't have to kill yourself necessarily on just dailies alone. You can supplement now with all these particular drops. Now, of course, they are random which ones you're going to get from rare to rare, so it's not like you can go to one location. You can't go to Town Long and farm the Shadowpan ones in particular or something like that, but still... amazing. I'm really happy about this change. This is another way for Blizzard to get everybody geared up and ready for the new content. Now, the Warbringers exclusively have a chance to drop the Primordial Direhorns, the Jade Primordial Direhorn, the Amber Primordial Direhorn, and the Slate Primordial Direhorn. These varying in colored Triceratops ground mounts are the transportation of choice for the Warbringers themselves. Now the good thing is, if you're looking for one in particular, they do correspond with the Triceratops or Direhorn that the Warbringer is actually on at the time when you kill it. Of course, the RNG is still dictating whether you get one, but at least you can predict what color you're going to get. Alright, now that we've got all the goodies out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the locations of where you can find these and what abilities you'll have to contend with when you find them. Alright, as you can see here, the Direhorns on the map mark where they spawn. Now this does include both the Warbringers and the Scouts. In each location I'm going to show you, there will be one Warbringer potentially up, as well as potentially 2 Scouts. As you can see here, there is a Direhorn icon that represents the Warbringer, and the red lines represent the Scouts because they do path. They do patrol up and down those red lines, so if you're looking for them, that's the way to go. The Warbringer, however, will always be in that spot when it's up, and the Scouts, as far as I know, actually spawn from that location as well and then path out. Now, understand, I do know that NPC scan is pretty much going to negate these maps. You won't necessarily need these, but they give you an idea of where these go and how far they go in particular. If you look in Krasarang in the upper right, you can see they go quite a distance, and even with NPC scans proximity alert, it's still not always going to pick those up depending on how far they've gone. So I did all the research and followed them on their path just so you can see how far they go, and you know, it might help you out a little bit in terms of hunting them down, so just keep all this in mind in case you are on the lookout for them. One thing of note, unlike the rares that are on Thunder Isle, these are not shareable. If somebody else gets the tag, it's their tag just like usual. Same with the old rares, they didn't change anything like that. So it is exclusively the rares that are on Thunder Isle that have the ability to be shared by multiple people. Alright, let's take a look at their abilities now. We're going to start with the Warscout, mainly because they are highly soloable. They do have some nasty abilities you do have to adhere to, but the good thing is, like I said, they are soloable, so you can just do them whenever you possibly want to. Now, the Warscouts and the Warbringers do share the same abilities. The only thing is that they are completely random. There's only 5 set abilities that they can use altogether, but they can only use a certain amount at a time. The Warscouts can use 3, the Warbringers use 4. Luckily, there is a way to tell which abilities they have before you even engage. That bottom row of icons tells you which abilities are up currently. All you have to do is mouse over them, and they'll give you the tooltip to tell you which is which. First one I'm going to show you here is because he's casting it right now is Meteor Shower. You can see those giant boulders coming down. Don't get hit by one, honestly. Not directly, especially. They hurt. Next one he's going to do is called Scarab Swarm. This just puts a bunch of little scarabs around the ground. They just start attacking you now. They're pretty negligible. You can AoE them down depending on your class. So just bear that in mind. They're not too bad. The next one I'm going to show you is called Horrific Visage. It does fear you for about 8 seconds. And again, it's not terribly bad by itself, but you pair it up with some of these other ones you're running around, say, with those meteors coming down on your head, it gets really nasty. So the different combinations of these, some of them are worse than others. So again, bear in mind they're completely random. Whatever 3 you get can be pretty tame or pretty nasty. The next ability is called Vengeful Spirit. Now this one can be pretty nasty because it does a lot of damage, but it's only based on proximity. As you can see, it's just a ghost that moves really slowly, so just get away from it. Kite the rare that you have. Just stay away from it. That's the best way to handle it, honestly. The 5th and final ability is called Thunder Crush. It's a frontal cone, and you just get out of it. I mean, it's a 2-second cast, so you can easily get out of it. It does significant damage, but yeah, just move away. Now on to the Warbringers. They use the exact same abilities, like I said, but they have 4 going at the same time instead of 3. The other thing is that they have a terror wing that is right next to them. Every single Warbringer does. You don't have to do anything with it. You can pull the Warbringer separately. It won't pull the terror wing at all. It doesn't buff the Warbringer or anything like that. It just sits there and does nothing. So it's perfectly safe to completely ignore it. The other thing is, I would advise to have 3 people to kill these. You can 2-man it. I've seen somebody solo it, so it is possible, but I think the most comfortable way is to do a 3-man, tank, DPS, or heals, or 1 tank like a Blood DK, or a druid. I can heal myself as a druid tank as much as anybody and be fine, so then you get 2 DPS to take it down. So yeah, I would just advise that, just to be more comfortable doing this. And besides, you're spreading the love. You're getting a lot of those reputation tokens to come out, as well as potential for mount drops as well. Alright guys, that is it for me. I want to thank you so much for watching the guide and everything you do here on the channel, checking out my other videos, liking, favoriting, subscribing, commenting, all that stuff. I really do appreciate everything you do. I want to thank, in the making of this video, Serrinne, Xarxes, Serenity Saz, Euphile for all the help on the PTR, Perculia for her help on the PTR, as well as helping me in general with the information from Wowhead, and Kristin for helping me with the tooltip graphics. They just make the video look all shiny, and I do appreciate it. Again, I want to thank all of you for being here. Check out the other videos, check out my other guides. Thanks, and take care of yourselves.